A motion by Helmut.
Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the villages, the township, those people that make regulations and laws that affect you out there.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people you went and elected. And the commissions and the committees that make decisions that directly affected you, whether you chose to go to that meeting or not, and you really should have, because the results could be a taxing situation.
It could happen to you. Yes. And I want to say there's a lot of meetings that do go on, and you might want to check and make sure that you catch a few of these, at least if not all of them, because they will come back and they could bite you very easily. We do look at, however, a little humor in these meetings, and you folks will find it too if you check them out.
And it's rhyming cousin rumor. So what we mostly say is true.
Well, one of us actually sets a few rumors here, and I won't say who, but
And for some reason, the other guy confirms them.
We do. Okay. So let's go on. Let's talk about a couple of meetings that occurred. One of them was April 16th, and it was for the Village of Oxford DDA, Downtown Development Authority. Yep. And the other one is the Pollyant Trail Management Council, which I'm a member of that particular council.
Happy trails to you.
Happy trails, yeah. And there's a lot of happy trailing going on those trails. And I'll tell you more when we get to that. But first, let's talk about the Village of Oxford DDA. Serving on that board is Pete Schultz, who's also the fire chief in town. Sue Oles, who's our newest member. Nicole Ellsworth. Dorothy Johnston, who has been a long-time member. Susan Schur. Sue Bassardit serves on the board. Rod Charles. Nancy Rosenstatter, and she was not there, so she was absent this particular meeting. And of course, Elgin Nichols.
There you go.
I serve on that board. Pledge, moment of silence for Ron Rolando, who passed away. And we're going to miss him.
Ron attended an awful lot of those meetings.
He was really a nice guy and smart, really smart guy. But anyway, we are going to miss him. Public comment? No public comment. Okay. Consent agenda. Also including the bills for $9,001.11.
Got to be precise.
Yep, got to be precise.
Or people will start doubting.
Right. A point came up during the consent agenda that the police report wasn't in there at the time. And so a note was made of it. And I believe it may have had something to do with Mike Solwall's mother passing away. The police chief.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That could be why there wasn't a report in at this particular time. But unfinished business occurred. M24 update. Glenn Pape. Guess what? 2020 looks good. Yeah, if you can believe me.
Is it inked in or penciled in?
It's actually penciled. I
see.
believe. There's so many erasures there, and you're not allowed to do that in accounting, as you know.
But you can only do so many before you wear a hole in the paper.
Right. Well, he says, well, we're going to go with this, and I'm sticking by it. So
Okie dokie.
we'll see what happens.
So is that the beginning of 2020 or the...
Yes.
Okay.
You got it. Okay, so anyway, it looks like, to answer that question, it's going to be grants have to be approved. Money's in place by, I think, the middle or the end of April. So they're working on that.
April of
this year.
Okay.
I want to get that done in
Not
advance.
2019.
No, because there may be other grants coming up. And we want to make sure that they accumulate all these monies into one sweet little money pot, right?
So
that's what we want to do.
So they can get things done.
So they can get things done, right. 2017 Main Street, Oakland County, MSOC evaluation. Oxford, you'll be glad to know,
What's
was certified.
MSOC?
It's the Main Street, Oakland County.
Okay. That's pretty direct. You're pretty good.
Right, they're good. Okay. Strategic Communications Plan presentation by Drew Benson. By the way, he did a fantastic job of compiling this and putting it together. Drew Benson is our, what do you want to say, co-op?
Intern.
Intern, that's the word I'm looking for, and I was hoping you'd reach down and pull it out, and you did. Great job. So anyway, he put this together. He is being paid by DDA to do it, and he did a superb job. And if folks want to see what it's all about, you can stop into the Downtown Development Authority
what was it supposed to accomplish?
Executive Director's Office.
What was it supposed to accomplish?
it's a lot of it. It's supposed to give you a trend as to, you know, improving the village in terms of marketing the village. In
So it's
terms
based on a
of-
survey?
Huh?
Based on a survey?
Well, the survey is actually ongoing, and you folks out there that are within the village and businesses will be approached by members of DDA, if not last week, probably this current week. And they will provide you with a questionnaire. They're looking for your feedback. Oh, but you say, the DDA never listens. Guess what? They
Lend
do
me an
listen.
ear.
Right. Here's your chance to shout, okay? So they will be out on the streets talking to you directly. And by the way, like he says, attend these meetings, the DDA meetings. Ron Rolando, before he passed away, used to attend every one of these meetings.
Yeah.
So he knew
He
what
was a
was going
fixture
on.
there, I'll tell
He was
ya.
a fixture, but when asked certain information requirements for the village, for you folks in the business district, he was not shy about letting us know,
No.
you know, what needed to be done. And there's a
Good
lot
guy.
of things need to be done. There's no question about that. But I think they're in the right mode right now, and they're in the right motion to get things done. Okay?
All right.
Good point. All right, with that, we did review that the executive summary that they had. It includes also a website by Mr. Page, presented a website for the DDA and for the village that they're looking at as well. Maybe even consolidated into the police department and DPW before they're done. Website, master, major, updoing, indoing,
Updoing.
outdoing.
Upgrade.
Achievement.
Upgrade.
Okay, upgrade. Okay, social media, critical, they said, to get active with the social media, so that you folks out there know what's going on. Marketing and media search and recognition. In other words, for the businesses, how do you gain recognition from outside individuals coming into the area?
Large, loud signs.
Well, also there's advertising. Yeah, there's radio, there's television, there's all types of media, and this was all part of it. And discussing the medias that are available, and OCTV.
Trucks with
came up.
loudspeakers.
Trucks with loudspeakers. Yeah, David with a microphone. That could do it.
Yikes.
Yikes, that's scary. But anyway, they did talk about OCTV as well as being part of this as we go along, as well as the Leader newspaper getting involved. And they've always been involved in the past, and so will we. And whenever there's something like this, that's an improvement for you residents out there. And I think there's a nice tsunami that's occurring with the village. There should be some major improvements. They want to gain your experience in terms of what you'd like to see happen prior to the tearing up of M24. So you got a little while to do this, but be careful. Before you know it, it'll be here, and time will be ready in order to approach
No, it'll be here again.
It'll be here again, and maybe again, and maybe again, and maybe again. And we'll talk more about again when we come back right after this.
On Schooling Around, we don't just school around. We get with everyone from the superintendent to the kids to find out what's new in Oxford schools. Schooling Around, only on OCTV.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kennedy.
And we are talking about what?
Anything you want. DDA.
I watch his face go to a solemn, flat screen here.
Deer in the headlights.
Village of Oxford DDA, right?
Right.
Downtown Development Authority. Okay, so soon you forget. Okay, new business. Holy Cross sign. They requested approval for the Holy Cross sign, 24 square foot sign. And there's some conversation about that. There's a grant available.
Holy Cross
through
Church
DDA.
is where?
Where? It's west of, or not west, but south of town.
Okay.
Off Washington, I believe. But what they're looking for, and it's a beautifully designed sign, which the parishioners put together, and the minister, they're getting $1,500 as grant money in order to do this. Now just keep in mind, folks, this is what DDA does. If you're interested in a grant funding for a sign, or just to improve your building somewhat, contact the DDA director and discuss this with him, okay? And for $1,500, it was approved by the DDA.
It's what they do.
It's what they do. And there was some discussion about the size of signs because, don't
There
know
have
if
been endless discussions about the size of signs.
But the Planning Commission, actually, they suggested that they go to a 32 square foot sign
as opposed to.
as opposed to the 24 square foot, which is what the ordinance requires.
Okay.
So
Who
that
has to
does-
change the ordinance?
Well, they did ask to change it to approve it to 32 square feet.
And
Village Council turned it down. So it's going to be 24 square feet. And that actually was
well,
part
if
of
you
the
didn't
discussion.
ask, you didn't know.
Didn't ask, you didn't know. Right. So in case you want a sign, it's got to be 24 square feet, and also there's requirements in terms of lighting, that kind of thing. And if it requires lighting, then you have to go before the Planning Commission. There's all other things that are involved. Without lighting, not so
Well,
much.
there's lighting, there's passive lighting, and there's active lighting.
Would you tell me more?
Active would be LEDs, which has its own set of problems.
Well, it's only problems to those that think they're problems, right?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, okay. Could be bright too, you know. I can't see the highway. That could be a problem. That's actually Gary Douglas, who's the chairman of the Planning Commission. That's one of his major concerns.
Well, there's the brightness, there's the color combinations, there's the rapidity with which the sign changes.
Yep,
There's a whole set of criteria.
there is. Most of these signs, they have the ability to adjust the lighting on it, though. So that's good. Okay, joint safety audit. Estimated at $3,500 that the township is asking cooperative approach to the safety path along Washington Street to join with existing safety path off Drainer, to extend along, you know, so that people can
Within the
travel.
scope of the DDA?
With it, yeah. They're asking the DDA to go ahead and support this effort. Well,
Don't they
after
call those sidewalks?
that's what Sue Basardic, she says, they're called sidewalks. We have sidewalks, she says. But, so anyway, so what they agreed to do is go ahead and support the township in the sense that be one of the riders behind this without funding, but to approve that approach and see if there's any type of grants or funding that could be available to do it. So there was a motion, no commitment on funding, however, but to support the project. Now, what I don't get what that really means, do you? We're not going to fund it, but we're
not
going to
gonna
support
fund
it.
it, but we demand a vote.
Right. So anyway, they don't
As-
really have the money. That's the problem.
Oh.
That's why Super Sarda says, we have sidewalks. So she's right. There's sidewalks there.
Are
But-
the sidewalks, once the M24 redo goes in, are the sidewalks going to be as wide as they are now?
yeah. Well, they're going to be new too, and you notice how some sidewalks.
That's why I asked.
Right. Yeah. And there's criteria. We have a consultant that's working with MDOT, you know, with this, as well as village people and township people.
The
as
village
well.
people are going to
Village
involved in
people
this?
are getting involved in this.
I
They are.
see. Well.
Not those village people,
Oh, never
but
mind.
the Oxford village people. Okay. Okay. 2018 tech visit. Okay. You know the county construction economic consulting firm that comes in and they say, you know, you should do this in order to be confirmed, you know, as street friendly, that kind of thing.
Is this the Main
They
Street
give
thing?
you, yeah, Main Street, and they train you, the village people in government, those people that control where your money goes. They train them on what they need to do and what direction they should take, that kind of
Okay.
thing. So they approved to go forward with that. Okay, DDA asset purchases, strictly for DDA events only, and they're looking for canopies to be replaced. Apparently they're pretty ragged out there.
On the gazebo?
No, not on the gazebo. These are tents, 4-pole tents,
Oh, canopies. Okay.
canopies, and also banners, and also tablecloths. During the discussion, they discovered that these tents were coming from China. They said, whoa, don't we have anybody here in Oxford that make tents?
I'm shocked and appalled that something comes from China.
Right. Me too. So anyway, so they discussed this and they said, well, you know, where are you getting the banners? Well, we're getting banners from Traverse City. There's a company up there that makes them. Well, do they make tents? Well, I don't think they do. They just make banners, but I can check. Is there anybody else in Michigan back there that can make tents?
And is
Right.
there a price differential?
Right. Well, the point is that after a period of time, I mean, I've dealt with both ends of it, between China and the U.S., and I found that you can search virtually the same pricing made in the USA.
Oh, good.
So what they did is all the members of your DDA board, they said, Earth? China? I don't think so. So anyway, so they advised the executive director to go out and search further and see what's available. If not in Michigan, which I suspect they will, because in Michigan, in my business, I purchased 2 or 3 tents, big ones, and they were made in Bay City at the time. I don't know if they're
Okay.
still made there anymore, but I do know that they make them in the USA. So that's going to be the approach. We're going to make
Doesn't the
purchases from the U.S.
doesn't the circus that comes over to Seymour Celebration
From Bay City.
They're from Bay City.
They are.
They have a big top.
Yeah, and I know the family. They're a nice family.
All right then.
So, okay.
have a
Yeah,
tent.
no, they won't loan their big top, though. Is that
Oh,
what you're referring to? This guy is looking for always ways to cut cost and expense. Okay. Grant opportunities. There's 3 grants filled by Glenn Pape. Let me see. Each with materials fund. Okay, this is how part of the money is coming from grant funding in order to cover these expenses for these accessories that they need, for the village. By the way, it'll only be used. These materials will only be used for the DDA. They're not going to be renting them out
When you say
to other
grant
people.
money, is the DDA writing grants to itself?
No, they are not. These would be county grants or state grants,
okay.
or what funding is available.
just,
By the way, Glenn Pape is doing a great job of looking for grant money.
Good.
I want to say, kudos.
That's a
in that
profession in
area.
and of itself.
It is. Now, the Lone Ranger Festival, Rod Charles gave a presentation. He wants the DDA to become stronger, more involved with the Lone Ranger Parade, and they pretty much agreed that they would do that. But they're going to sit down and they're going to discuss it with Glenn Pape as to what he's actually looking for. If they're looking for funding down the way, it has to be budgeted, of course. Okay.
That's coming up at the latter part of the summer, isn't it?
Right. Now, they did approve also a memorial for Ron Rolando. And they talked about planting a tree possibly, in the
Centennial Park?
Centennial Park, along with a plaque laid
No,
down.
that's very nice.
Yep. They did something similar to that, in the township. Well, with that, we'll be back right after this, folks. Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we just got through talking about the Downtown Development Authority in Oxford Village. Now we're going to talk about the regular meeting of the Pollyann Trail Management Council, which occurred on April 18th.
Where do they meet this time?
They met at the village, Oxford Village
Okay.
offices. Mike McDonald is the chairman. Curtis Wright is the vice chair. He's with the township, of course, clerk. Donnie Steele, who's the treasurer, and she's the treasurer for Orion Township. Elgin Nichols, secretary. Bruce Pearson, who is the supervisor of Addison Township. Sue Passardet, who's the village council president.
Right.
Yep, for Oxford. Eric Sant, who's a trustee with Addison Township. Aaron Watley, who's a trustee, I believe, with Orion Township. And Kevin Green, who is a citizens rep, is on the board but non-voting. And of course, Linda Moran, who is the
Executive Director.
Executive Director, Trail Manager. Okay, members that were absent were Donnie Steele was absent, and Sue Passardet were both excused. Others present, there were 2 other individuals in the audience at the time. Approval of the agenda, a motion was made by Eric Sant to approve it, and the motion was carried. Consent agenda was approved. Minutes for March 14th, 2018. There was a correction to be made with that particular set of minutes that Donnie Steele apparently made a motion rather than Bruce Pearson, so it switched around, so it was made right, by the upcoming minutes.
Okay.
Makes sense. Donnie called. Donnie Steele says, "Hey, I didn't make that motion, or I didn't second it. I made the motion." So whatever. So anyway, it was
That was a
it was changed
commotion.
around. It was a commotion of the motion. Yeah, it was. Okay, treasurer's report. Motion by Mike McDonald that zipped right on by. Pay the bills. That was an interesting thing because there was an outstanding bill for January for $963, and because there was no change in last month's bills that were approved, in other words, they weren't moved forward, the only amount that would be approved would be $963.
Oh,
And that was immediately approved and pushed
All right.
through it. So that makes sense. What else we got? Financial reports. Financial reports were just a roll call vote on it, and they were received and filed. A trail report by the manager, Linda Moran. She gave quite a report, and she's talking about the trail in which they're having some legal difficulties with, and that there needs to be a survey made of the trail. 'Cause this guy is
that usually
relenting.
involves private property
Right.
versus the trail.
Yeah, this guy put in a pool, I guess it was, and then he took the fence that Pollyant Trail had, moved the fence
Uh-oh.
over the Pollyant Trail further, so he'd have more access.
Well, you may think you're messing with the local authorities, but the trail is owned by the DNR.
DNR, and they can
Don't
be
mess with those folks.
they can be really difficult, more difficult than the Pollyant Trail people probably. But Pollyant
Talk
Trail,
about the nice guy, bad guy.
right? But Linda Moran, she's a little gal, and boy, she's feisty.
Uh-huh.
She comes right up to him and says, "Hey, this is illegal. You can't do this. If you're going to do this, you're going to be in trouble." So it's pretty cool. But she's taking care of a lot of things for the trail.
But
you
that's
folks
still
making
is
a
that-
nice trail.
Is that a still ongoing situation?
It is.
Okay.
We did approve hiring a surveyor.
Okay.
I believe his name is Kennedy. And
Boy, that Kennedy
Robert.
firm has been in Oxford for a long time.
yeah, he's been around. I understand he's been working with the trails in the past. So
Okay.
he's pretty familiar with it. So they will do a survey. Once the survey is complete, they will then say, look, you're over on our property. You moved a fence you weren't supposed to move. You will make it right, or we'll see you in circuit court. More
Or you
likely.
basically say, since it's on our property, it's our fence, we'll get
Oh,
rid
they
of it.
could do that. They really could do that.
Oh.
Yeah. They could adverse possession. No, it's got to be
Oh,
7
that's-
years.
What? What do you mean, 7 years? He just did it.
I know. Right. You could come after
It was,
dark.
it was an adverse move. Adverse.
Yeah. My idea is come after dark and, sneak up on it. And bring the goats with you. They can watch.
Shift
watch.
it back.
They'd be your lookout, the goats. By the way, they approved the goats again.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they're going to have goats. And the thing is, Linda Moran has received a number of, what do you want to say, free monies, from different donations from
Oh,
different
wow.
people. So, and she had some money left over from last year. So, compiled together, you folks will hear this stuff on the trails for a while. They eat almost everything, so stay away from them. Not safe to pet. That's a rumor.
And your chicken sandwich.
And a chicken sandwich, right. So anyway, you folks are going to see the goats, and let me see when that's supposed to be. Well, anyway, maybe I can think of it later.
Sooner or later.
Sooner or later, it'll be. I think probably in the fall sometime.
Okay.
But anyway, new business, there's a couple of requests. Warriors Path event request for May 19th at 8 a.m. By Lake Point Church. You know who that is?
No.
Christ the King Church.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they changed their name. Did you know that?
When do they do that?
When you weren't looking.
I see, and you can't remember.
They did that only a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did they?
They did. That's
Okay.
probably why you didn't know. You were napping.
They're rebranded.
Yep, they are. So, Lake Point Church. And that was approved. So that's May 19th at 8 a.m. on the trails. You can get more information from Linda Moran
All right.
for the trails. Okay, there are a couple of others too that they're looking at. One is a Veterans Walk on May 19th, but there's nothing nailed down yet. And there's one for October 13th, not nailed down either. Main Street Bike Race.
Oh,
But it all depends on one condition, that all the paperwork is in.
a bike race?
Bike race. Bring your bike out. Get ready to race. You too might win. I doubt it, but you might.
That requires a bit more clearance than people just running.
It does. And not only that, but there's electric bikes on the trail now. And for you folks that have an electric bike, you have to get a permit, from the Pollyant Trail manager.
That's sort of like
Linda Moran.
in between a motorized
Yep.
vehicle and a, okay. you
Right.
know.
Well, there is one handicap permit that they did approve, and it was for Bruce Pearson's son, and he's used the trail for a period of time, and it's electric type bike.
Okay.
So you folks can get those too. Just contact Linda Moran.
Next
Yeah.
time, there'll be charging stations.
Right. Look for the Pollyant Trail, and the executive director, trail manager, Linda Moran. There's a phone number there and an email.
Okay.
Should be able to get a hold of her and make arrangements. It's there for you folks for convenience. Goats on the Trail, just to let you know that starting in 2018, for 2 weeks, it'll be run with a total of $2,500 funding, $1,585, and $914. Part of it being on hand, the other part being donated. And it was all approved to go through. So you will see the goats. They're out there.
They eat everything.
Everything. And I
Even-
do mean poison
Yep.
ivy.
Poison ivy, poison sumac. Those
Yeah.
little guys just
Yeah.
are affected by
If they
it.
can reach high enough on the trees, they'll eat the bark right up the tree.
Somewhat spicy.
Yeah, right. Yummy. So anyway, children like it because, you know, they like to pet the goats and everything. It's pretty neat.
Survey. My shoelaces.
Yeah, right. Also, there's going to be asphalt repairs and approval for $300, and Linda Moran goes around patching up things, and she has a group of volunteers that pitch in also. Bridge naming event by Senator Marlowe
This is the bridge
scheduled.
that crosses M24.
That's the one near Oxford here.
Have they decided on a name?
Yes, they did. The gentleman's name, I can't recall what it is right now, but we'll catch it later. What's coming up?
Well, we do have meetings, and they're all in May. And it's on 5/7 at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Zoning Board of Appeals. Check on that one, because sometimes they cancel it.
I'll be on that board.
5/8 at 6:30 at Village of Oxford Council. And at 6 o'clock, same day, Addison Township Planning Commission. On 5/9 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Board of Trustees. And on 5/10, the Oxford Township Planning Commission, and at 6 o'clock, the Addison Township Zoning Board of Appeals. Once again, check it out.
I'm Elgin Nicholas. This is Minutes by Minute.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
I'll catch you next time right here.
Bye-bye.